Hey y'all, it's Miss A. Today our topic is ordering integers from real world problems. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to talk about are some ways that they can actually ask you to order the integers. So I do suggest you make sure you write all these down because some of them are a little bit confusing. Well, maybe not all of them, but the ones that you're not quite sure, are they asking least to greatest or greatest to least? So it's up to you. But here we go. So of course we have least to greatest, lowest to highest, coldest to warmest, fastest to slowest, shortest to tallest, shortest to longest, smallest to biggest, and ascending. The two that trip the kids up the most is the coldest to warmest and the fastest to slowest. So cold temperatures are your low temperatures, and then warm temperatures are your really high temperatures. So it's least to greatest. And then fastest, in order to be fast, you have to run the race in like the least amount of time. So this is the shortest time. This is the longest time. And then ascending, kids get confused by that one. Ascending means that you go up. So ascending is least to greatest. And then vice versa, we have greatest to least, highest to lowest, warmest to coldest, slowest to fastest, tallest to shortest, longest to shortest, biggest to smallest, and then descending. So descending means you go down. So you're going greatest to least. All right, here's our first example. The temperatures of 5 cities in the U.S. are listed in the table. Answer the following questions. Number 1, name the city that was the warmest. So here they're asking us to find the city that was the warmest temperature. So we have these 5 cities listed here. The first thing I'm going to do to help me is to actually make a little number line. Your number line does not have to be perfect. If you were to draw it by yourself, you can skip around. I'm going to show you that a little bit later. But we have 0 in the middle. We have our positives going to the right, our negatives going to the left. And then move that out of the way. And then all we're going to do is we're just going to plot these points on the number line. So Carson was 7 degrees. So I have positive 7. Baytown was negative 13. Hollister, negative 5. Ryder, 0. And Dover, 12. So now that I have all 5 cities' temperatures documented or plotted on our number line, now we can determine which one is the warmest. So the warmest temperature is the one with the highest temperature, okay, which is right here of 12. So to answer the question, which city had the warmest temperature, is the one that had 12, which is Dover. All right, which city is the coldest? So again, we already have them plotted on our number line. The coldest temperature is going to be the temperature that is the lowest, which would be negative 13. So the city with the temperature that was the coldest is Baytown. All right, now the third question for this one says list the temperatures in ascending order. Ascending. So we talked about earlier how ascending was going up. So you're starting at the bottom, which is your least values, and we're going higher, which are our greater values. So we need to order these degrees, these temperatures, in order from least to greatest. When we're looking at the number line, remember that a number line does that for me. My smaller numbers are on the left side, and my bigger numbers go towards the right. So we're just going to start on the left and list them all the way to the right. So negative 13, negative 5, 0, positive 7, and 12. Those are our temperatures listed in ascending order from coldest to warmest. All right, some record temperatures for Colorado City are listed below. List these temperatures in order from warmest, which is our high temperatures, to coldest, which are our low temperatures. So here's our little list. There are 6 numbers, so I have 6 spots. We're going to start with our warmest temperature, which is our highest, and we're going to go to our coldest, which is the lowest. So our highest temperature has to be one of these positive numbers, so 3, 12, and 5. So our highest one would be 12. Our highest one that's remaining is 5, leaving me with 3. Once I have those positives out of the way, what I could do is I could skip to the coldest. So the coldest temperature is the lowest one, the one farthest away from zero or farthest away from the positives. So I have -9, -16, and -7. -16 is the coldest. Little bit warmer would be -9. And then a little bit warmer than that would be -7. None of those are warm. We don't see those degrees here in Waco, Texas, but in Colorado, you might. So listing those from warmest to coldest, 12, 5, 3, -7, -9, and -16 degrees. Again, we could draw a number line. The biggest complaint I hear about number lines is that it takes too long to draw. They don't have to have every single number. You don't have to go by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could just skip by fives, 0 to 5, -5, and so on. And then just roughly place them. They don't have to be perfect. So 12 would be between 10 and 15. So let's say right here. Oh, I'm sorry, I did these first. So -9 would be between -5 and -10. Now, this is the one that tricks up the kids the most because they want to say -9 goes before 10, but -9 would not fall between -10 and -15. So it goes right before the -10, which would be here. +3 would be between the 0 and the 5. +12 would be between 10 and 15. -16, again, -16 falls between 15 and 20. -15, -20. So roughly here. +5 would be here. -7 would be not right here before the -5, but in between the -5 and the -10. So place it there. And then if we wanted to put them from warmest to coldest, we would just start on the right side this time and list them going to the left. All right, next example. Noah was playing a game and got the following points. List his points from least to greatest. So here's our list, least to greatest. So if we're looking here, we've got some negatives and positives. Instead of focusing on my least ones that are going to be my negative, let's focus on these greater ones first because those are easy. What's his greatest point value? +15. His greatest one remaining would be 6, then 3. Now I can focus on my smaller ones. So the one that's the almost positive, we've got -4, -2, -12. So the greatest of those, remember the greatest is the one closest to 0 when it comes to negative, which would be -2, then -4, and then -12. Again, we could always draw a number line to help us. So notice my number line here, skip counts by 2s. Again, they don't have to go by 1. So if I plotted -12, it would be here, -4, -2, +3 would be between the 2 and the 4, 6, and then 15 would be between the 14 and the 16. So to put them in order from least to greatest, I would just go from left to right. All right, so we're going to order the integers below in order from least to greatest. Now, I know these aren't in a real world problem, but I wanted to show you a couple examples with these numbers being really big. So we want to go from least to greatest. So here are my 7 numbers. Remember that your least values are the ones that are farthest away from 0. All of these are negative, so we're not focused on any positive. The least value is farthest away from 0, which would not be my 20, 30, be my 42. Then if I were to move a little bit more to the right, a little bit closer to 0, would be my -39. Then I would get -35, a little bit closer than that. -31. Then -27, -24, and -20. So we could, of course, plot those on a number line. Now notice my number line does not even include 0. You can do that. It can be just negative numbers. 0 would be over here somewhere to the right of -20. And then I skip counted by 2 because I noticed I had 42, -42, and then -20. So I just had to have a number line that ranged from there. So -27, if I were to plot this number right here, remember 27 falls between 26 and 28, so it would be here in the middle. -31 would be between 30 and 32. -24, negative 39, negative 20, negative 42, and negative 35. And those, remember, the number line puts them in order from least to greatest for you. And the last one is list the integers below in descending order. So these numbers are really big and they're very spaced out. So first of all, descending, we talked about earlier, descending is going down. So descending starts with the greatest and goes to the least. So we're going to put these 7 integers in order from greatest to least. Move this one over here. All right, so one thing I would do personally, when we know we have positive and negative numbers, just like we did earlier on an example, I'm going to use these positives first and get them out of the way because I know those are my greatest values. So 223, 201, and 24. So my greatest one is 223, then 201, and then 24. All right, to help me out with the rest, I'm actually going to look at a number line. Now, this number line, these numbers are very spaced out, so I don't want to draw all the way to 223 or negative 245, so I'm just going to skip count by 100s, which is fine. So, to plot our first value of 223, that would be between 200 and 300. This would be 250, so I'll say 223 is roughly here. Let's label it. Negative 29 is between 0 and negative 100. I know it's going to be closer to 0 than it is 100, so let's say roughly here. And let's label it. Negative 203. So negative 203 is not here between negative 100 and negative 200. It's a little bit past the negative 200, so we'll say roughly there. Let's label it. 201 is a little bit past 200. Negative 245 is almost halfway between negative 200 and negative 300. 24 would be roughly here. And negative 23. Now, negative 23 is where I have to be careful. Negative 23 would not be between negative 29 and negative 100. It would be between 0 and negative 29. So negative 23 would be roughly here. So now when I'm going in descending order, descending is going down. So I'm going to start with my greatest values and I'm going to move to the left. So I already have 223, 201, and 24. So my next value would be negative 23, negative 29, negative 203, and then negative 245. And that's it. So a number line is extremely helpful when you're putting integers in order. Remember that your number line does not have to be perfect. You don't have to draw every single number. You can skip count like we did a couple times here. But it is helpful to put your numbers in order from least to greatest or greatest to least. Hopefully y'all found this video helpful, guys. If y'all have any questions, please contact me on Zoom or send me an email. Y'all have a great day. Talk to y'all later. Bye.